Find out why Temple's victory over Memphis was fool's gold and why Cincinnati will actually make the college football playoff. And finally, how you are going to get paid to watch this one. Let's get it.
This is Enough Said Sports.
Guys, I hope all is well in your world. It is all well here at Enough Said Sports as we come to you with another college football preview and prediction here on YouTube. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day or evening to support us here on YouTube. If you like this content, want more picks like this, want more opportunities, please join us on Patreon. Become a true fan of Enough Said Sports and get the aid your bank account needs. It is in the description box below. Please click the link there and check us out. Now, let's get into the matchup between the Templeowls versus the Cincinnati Bearcats. Going to be coming on Friday, October the 8th. They're on ESPN, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The spread in this one is Cincinnati is favored by 29.5, and the total in this one is 54.5. And before we get into why I believe Temple's victory over Memphis was fool's gold, and why I believe Cincinnati will finally be the first Group 5 team to make the college football playoff, let's get into how you are going to get paid to watch this one. Now, to start out with the Temple Owls, Rod Carey is the head coach. They are 3-2 coming off a victory, 34-31 over Memphis. Nawan Mathis is the quarterback, 61.9% completion percentage, 7.3 yards per pass attempt, 5 touchdowns to 1 interception. So pretty impressive, especially with how they started off the season versus Rutgers. They got 3 seniors up front, and 2 juniors. They are ranked 41st in the nation in offensive line efficiency, which is actually really good for this Temple Owls team. Defensively, they run a 4-3 set. They do have 1 freshman on the defensive side of the football. He plays the defensive tackle position. Other than that, they're a veteran defense, but they don't have any superstars on that side of the football. Watching film on this team going up against Memphis, I thought they did a very, very nice job. They looked really, really good on offense. They really struggled on the defensive side of the football there. They've really been struggling on the defensive side of the football all year long, but still a really, really good win for this Temple team. I think they caught Memphis napping a little bit on them, but we will talk more about that later on in the video. But they looked really, really good there for the most part. Again, not great on defense. On the Cincinnati Bearcats side, Luke Fickell is the head coach, 4-0 coming off of a huge victory over the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They go on the road, win that game 24-13. I believe that the Notre Dame Fighting Irish have been overrated all year long, but still very, very impressive victory for the Cincinnati Bearcats team. It is the best victory that they've had all season long. Desmond Ridder is the quarterback. Probably will be a top 5 pick, if not the first pick in the draft. He'll be battling Spencer Rattler for that distinction. 63.5% completion percentage, 9.1 yards per pass attempt, 9 touchdowns to just 2 interceptions. Up front, they boast 1 senior, 2 juniors, 1 sophomore, and 1 freshman at the left tackle position. This offensive line is actually rated 26th in the country in offensive line efficiency, run blocking and pass blocking. Quite impressive up front, especially considering the competition that they've gone up against. Now, they do have a couple of stud wide receivers. They got Alec Pierce. Is probably going to be a 1st or 2nd round pick for the National Football League, going to be playing on Sundays. And they also have Michael Young Jr., who is also a receiver, going to be a 3rd or 4th round pick. So he's very, very talented. Defensively, they run a 3-3-5 set. They've got some players over there. They got 2 projected 1st round picks, 1st or 2nd round picks, and Maja Sanders at the defensive end position, and Kobe Bryant at the cornerback position, named after the late great Laker legend Kobe Bryant. Other than that, they have a veteran defense. Both of those players on the defensive end are superstars. They play very, very effectively. They jump off the screen. I believe Kobe Bryant is their best player on defense. Just looking at them on film, Cincinnati tends to start slow for some reason. This is something that they've been doing all year long. They started slow against Indiana and got going. They started slow in this game and got going. They tend to start slow and conservative, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's not something that I absolutely love about this football team. I would love to see them jump out early and get faster starts and get going faster. But nevertheless, it's effective because they just don't make mistakes. Desmond Ridder has largely protected the football for the most part this season. Only has a few turnovers. He did a really, really nice job there. I thought he played a really, really clean game against Notre Dame, other than the strip sack, which, can't be helped in some regard. His protection broke down on that play. But once they get going, they get going. I thought Desmond Ridder is being really, really patient. I really respect his game because he shows patience within his game. He doesn't panic, doesn't start pressing. It would have been very, very easy in that Notre Dame game to start pressing as time went on, because that was a little bit of a defensive struggle early. He just did a really, really good job letting the game come to him, not forcing any throws, and really managing the game well. Defensively, I thought they did a really nice job against Notre Dame. I do think Notre Dame has been overrated all year. I think that Notre Dame, of all the offenses that Cincinnati has faced, is one of the weaker oppositions there. They've got a quarterback controversy. They ended up putting in Drew Pine there late in the game. Gave him a little bit of a spark. They also went to their backup, number 12. His name escapes me right now. He was really largely ineffective through an interception. And then Jack Cohn was also ineffective. So you had three quarterbacks playing in this game. And I thought Cincinnati did a nice job against that. And I thought that they deserve a lot of kudos and credit. So with all that being said, guys, I like Cincinnati here. I know it's tempting to take the points with Temple, especially considering that they just had a huge win up against Memphis. But I'm going to get into why I believe that win was overrated here in a little bit. But I like Cincinnati here. I think Cincinnati handles business here. I believe that this is an inferior opponent to them. They're at home. They understand what's at stake. They need style points to ensure that they're going to get an opportunity at the college football playoff. And with Arkansas getting blown out by Georgia the way that they did, I believe that Arkansas will probably be out of the running at this point unless they're able to somehow get to the SEC championship game, which remains to be seen. I don't believe that's going to happen at this point. And manage to win that game. I think that opens the door for a team like a Cincinnati that I believe has got the toughest part of their schedule behind them. I believe Cincinnati is going to have a great opportunity to run the table here. But for the purposes of this bet, I like Cincinnati minus 29.5. And I also like the under 54.5. I think Cincinnati is going to shut this Temple team down on the offensive end. Temple has struggled all year long against better defenses, and I believe that that's going to continue. I don't believe that they've played anybody the caliber of the Cincinnati team. I believe Cincinnati takes care of business, keeps this game under, because I think it's going to be something like 41-3, 41-10, somewhere in that area, and I believe it stays just under 54.5. Now, that's all I've got for the game. As far as what I talked about earlier, I believe that the win by Temple was fool's goal. When you look at what went on and you really get a closer look at the film between Temple and Memphis, Memphis just really took them lightly, I believe. And granted, I also believe Memphis is a little bit weaker than they have been in years past. They're not your grandfather's Memphis team. That team that tends to be feisty and tends to be right there neck and neck with Cincinnati. This is not that team. I believe that they took this Temple team lightly, and Temple took advantage of it and walked through the door and was able to surprise them with a victory there at home or at a neutral site. I believe that this game was played at Lincoln Financial Field where the Eagles play. But with all that being said, I still believe that this was a win that's going to be largely overvalued. And I believe it's going to be a trap game for you bettors out there who are going to take the points here and roll with Temple. Now, as for Cincinnati getting to the college football playoff, I believe the stage is set. I alluded to it earlier a little bit with Arkansas losing the way that they did to Georgia. I felt Arkansas would probably lose that game. I thought it would be very, very close. I had Arkansas covering in that game. Obviously, they did not do that. And with them not having any style points as far as making that game really close with Georgia, I think that's really going to hurt them in the voters' eyes. I think that Arkansas is going to have a hard time with Ole Miss this weekend. I think Ole Miss probably wins that game and knocks them backwards some more. And they're certainly not going to get to the SEC championship game and have an opportunity to redeem themselves with either Georgia or Alabama. So I think that knocks them out. I think Oklahoma is whistling through the graveyard. I think it's only a matter of time that before Oklahoma loses a game. I think Penn State and Iowa both could possibly, and I believe both of them will eventually lose a game. And I think that's going to open the door for this feisty Cincinnati team. I don't believe they're going to have a loss on their resume. When I look at their schedule, the toughest part of their schedule is done. By far, that Notre Dame game was the toughest one, going on the road up there to win. They got that done. I think as long as they win these games down the stretch here convincingly, I think they're going to be the fourth team in the college football playoff, and I think that's going to be very, very interesting to watch because I really like this Cincinnati team from what I see. And I even watched them last year go up against the Georgia team and really should have won the game. So when you consider that, I think that it could be a fairly competitive game. Probably going to see Alabama in the first round of the college football playoffs. And I think they might give Alabama a decent game. So certainly don't know if they'll win it or not, but I think they'll definitely show themselves worthy and definitely continue to talk about expansion of this college football playoff. So guys, let me know, Temple fans. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think that this win with Memphis is being overvalued? Or do you think, are you buying into it? Do you think that Temple has now turned the corner? And Cincinnati fans, do you see your team getting into the college football playoff, even if they run the table or not? Let me know. And of course, always let me know what you think about the pick. Really appreciate all the support here on YouTube. Couldn't do it without you. And guys, appreciate it. And like I said earlier in the video, if you like these types of picks and like this type of content, please join us on Patreon, support us there, become a true fan of Enough Said Sports, and get even more opportunities to aid your bank account. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening.